All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're stepping into the magical, honestly kind of mythic kingdom of Meristan to unpack a seriously fascinating story. It's a narrative that's been passed down through generations called Soneh Kishazadi, or the Golden Princess. Now, on the surface, it sounds like your classic fairy tale about unimaginable wealth. But as we're about to see, what gets pitched as a divine blessing in this story is in reality an absolute nightmare. So, what if the ultimate wealth was actually a deadly curse? I mean, just picture this agonizing reality for a second. Princess Alina, the protagonist of our story, hasn't eaten a single bite of food in 3 whole days. Why? Well, because the very moment she reaches for something to eat, literally before it even touches her lips, it turns into solid, heavy gold. Even a glass of water freezes into this gleaming metallic ice the second it grazes her mouth. The palace servants are trying everything, right? Long wooden spoons, funnels. But the moment the food gets close, her aura just instantly transforms it into a golden heap. She is literally starving to death while completely surrounded by infinite wealth. Which brings us to Section 1, the Golden Curse. Wealth in the palace, poverty in the kingdom. We've got this wild, dramatic irony going on here. Inside the palace walls, King Ziriahab has totally weaponized Alina's golden touch. Every single morning, they bring wagons, literally wagons, of iron, stone, and wood into her room just so she can touch them. And with all this endless gold, the king has built these towering palaces with golden fountains. He's raised massive armies, filled his granaries to the brim. But outside those walls, in the actual kingdom of Miristan, it's a completely different story. The people are living in crumbling mud houses, kids are starving, the fields are bone dry. King Ziriahab basically hoarded this power, keeping Alina locked away under the lie that the outside world would steal her gift, while his own citizens were out there perishing in absolute poverty. And this extreme inequality sets off a total chain reaction, leading right to the inciting incident of our story. Suddenly, the palace doors burst open, and a desperate 7-year-old boy actually manages to slip past the royal guards and into Alina's chambers. He's in bad shape, torn clothes, wounded feet, and in his hands, he's just holding this simple clay bottle. He's begging the princess, explaining that his mom is dying, and the local healer is demanding gold coins for the medicine. He's just pleading with her to touch this one clay bottle so he can basically buy his mother's life. And that kicks off Section 2, Glass, Coal, and Truth, the magic system revealed. So Alina backs away. She's terrified of hurting him, obviously. But the boy, who's completely blinded by his tears, trips over a golden bowl and falls right toward her. Instinctively, just humanely, Alina reaches out her hand to catch him. Her golden palm touches his wrist. But instead of turning to gold, a sound like shattering glass just echoes through the room. Boom! A blinding flash of blue light erupts. In a matter of seconds, the boy's skin, his clothes, even his final tear freeze into completely transparent glass. He doesn't turn to gold at all. He becomes a crystalline statue. Enter King Ziriahab. He bursts into the room, and guess what? He is not grieving. He is furious. He immediately orders his guards to hide the glass child because he realizes Alina's magic is changing, and there is no way he's going to risk losing his golden goose. Alina is horrified by the loss of life and demands to know how they're going to turn the boy back. And the king, he just coldly replies, "Every human has a price. Those who say they don't are just waiting for a higher one." He literally tells his daughter they're just going to send the boy's family 100 gold coins as compensation. To this king, a human life is just a line item on a ledger. This absolute shock of cruelty pushes Alina right to her breaking point. It actually triggers a memory of her late grandmother's warning. Gold can light up hands, not hearts. It hits her. Her father's whole narrative, this idea that her touch is a divine blessing meant to enrich the kingdom, is a total lie. It hasn't enriched the kingdom at all. It's only enriched him, and it's doing it at the cost of innocent lives. So, in this moment of pure defiance, the king steps forward, putting on a leather glove to physically force her compliance. But Alina rips her hand away. In one swift motion, she slaps her bare hand squarely across her father's face. Now, we're all expecting gold, right? Or maybe glass? Nope, there's a deafening explosion. Dark smoke just fills the room, the king's royal robes turn straight to ash, and his body rapidly darkens, freezing into this solid, grotesque statue of pure black coal. Okay, so what is actually happening here? Well, Alina digs into the hidden royal archives later that night and discovers this incredibly brilliant magic system. Her touch doesn't just arbitrarily turn things to metal.
It physically manifests the hidden truth of a person's soul. Check this out. If a person's heart is pure and innocent, with absolutely nothing to hide, they turn to transparent glass, just like the little boy. If a person is driven by greed, they turn to gold. But if a person's heart is utterly blackened by evil, oppression, and cruelty, like King Ziryab, they're transformed into a literal lump of coal. The curse is actually a mirror of the soul.
Let's get into Section 3, The Wizard's Secret, a curse born of greed. Armed with this 100-year-old map that has notes from her grandmother, Alina takes off. It's a grueling 3-day journey across the dry, impoverished fields of her own kingdom, heading up to the northern mountains. There, she finally tracks down Zaharan, this ancient white-haired wizard, and Zaharan confesses the real dark origin of her power. Turns out, at the time of Alina's birth, Maristan was completely bankrupt from losing wars. King Ziryab blackmailed Zaharan by imprisoning his family, forcing the wizard to cast a spell that would turn the newborn princess into a literal gold-making machine. But Zaharan, in his anger, secretly built a hidden condition into the curse, hoping that one day it would expose the king's dark heart to the world. So, how do you break it? Well, it's a 3-step nightmare. Step 1, someone has to voluntarily hold Alina's hand. She can't touch them. They have to be the one to initiate the grasp. Step 2, this person must have zero greed, zero desire for reward, zero thirst for power in their heart. And step 3, the terrifying stakes. If they step forward and even a shred of greed exists in their soul, they will instantly turn into a golden statue, trapping their soul forever. Talk about high stakes, right? And that sets the stage for Section 4, the ultimate test, a kingdom paralyzed by fear. Cut to the next morning. Alina is standing out in the central square of Merhistan, and thousands of people have gathered. The Glass Boy and the Coal King are both displayed up on a high platform for everyone to see. Wizard Zaharan announces the rules to the public, and man, the tension is just palpable. Brave soldiers step forward, but the fear of becoming eternal gold statues just stops them dead in their tracks. A minister reaches out, but the moment he glances at the royal crown near Alina, you see the greed flash in his eyes, and he cowardly backs away. The entire kingdom is paralyzed by their own internal flaws. Until a voice calls out. Horace, a young farmer in simple clothes, parts the crowd. He's the exiled son of the former royal gardener. In fact, he was Alina's only childhood friend until her father banished his family for getting too close to his golden asset. Alina is begging him to stay back, warning him that even one selfish desire is going to kill him. But Haris, he just calmly states his wishes. He doesn't want the crown. He doesn't want wealth. He doesn't even want her hand in marriage as some kind of reward. He literally just wants her to be able to eat a piece of bread, to drink water, to touch the flowers they used to play around, to just feel the rain without the terror of turning it to metal. It is this completely selfless, beautifully pure desire for another human being's basic joy. Alina is absolutely terrified of losing her only true friend. She pulls her hand back and cries out that she doesn't want to lose him. And Haris just responds with this profound line, "You will lose me the day I leave you alone." Ignoring the deadly stakes, he reaches out and firmly grasps her glowing golden hand. Lightning flashes across the sky. The whole crowd collectively holds its breath. The golden light from Alina's palm violently transfers right into Harris's fingers, rushing up his veins directly toward his heart. For a terrifying second, his entire body glows like molten gold. The magic is aggressively scanning his soul, searching every single corner for a hint of greed, a desire for a throne, a lust for wealth. And it finds absolutely nothing. Because a curse born of greed literally cannot survive in a heart completely devoid of it, the magic violently breaks. With a massive shockwave, the golden energy shatters, erupting right out of Haris and dissolving into thousands of tiny glowing fireflies floating up into the sky. Instantly, the Glass Boy on the platform gasps for air, returning to flesh and blood, and runs crying to his mother. Beside him, the coal statue cracks open, and King Ziryab falls to the ground as a mortal human, completely stripped of his power, his crown, and his terrifying aura. Which brings us to our final chapter, Section 5, True Wealth. The Fall of the Monarchy. Things change fast. That very afternoon, the oppressive monarchy of Meristan completely collapses.
The king's own soldiers refuse to help him. They finally see his true worth, and Ziryab is sent off to a public court to answer for his crimes. Alina immediately takes control and totally redefines what wealth means for her kingdom. She throws the royal vaults wide open. The hoarded gold is systematically sold off to fund massive agricultural canals for those dry fields. Free hospitals are built, granaries are open to the public. She even has the massive golden doors of the palace melted down to build structural bridges for the citizens. The ultimate symbols of extreme hoarding are transformed into actual, real-life lifelines for society.
Fast forward a few months, and the story concludes with this highly emotional, quiet little moment. Alina is standing out in the old gardens with Horace. It's raining. She holds out her hand, and for the very first time in her entire life, a raindrop falls on her skin and just remains water. She laughs. Horace hands her a single, vibrant red apple. She looks at it with, years of conditioned fear, but she takes a bite. It stays an apple. After a literal lifetime of isolation and metallic starvation, she can finally taste fruit. She cries, telling Horace it's worth more than all the gold in the world.
So what's the core philosophical takeaway here? It all boils down to this generational lesson passed down in Mahiristan. Greed turns humans to gold, innocence to glass, and evil to coal. But selfless love shatters every curse. It's this striking reminder that power and wealth, they're entirely neutral. It's the condition of the human heart wielding them that dictates whether they become a massive blessing or a devastating curse. Which leaves us with a pretty intense question to chew on. As you go about your day, think about the motivations behind your own pursuits. If your heart was touched today, and your truest, most hidden intentions were instantly brought to the surface, would it turn to transparent glass, black coal, or heavy gold? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating story with me. Stay curious, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.